Hello Dabbers and welcome back to another Dab 2000 video. And today I am super excited because today we're doing another ranking video, and today is all 32 Marvel movies and shows ranked. I am super excited because my favorite series to watch with the movies and shows is Marvel. So I am so excited to do this ranking. I have Captain America's shield with me. I'll place it over there. And ShangChi's rings. And I'll place them down here. So, this is going to be a spoiler warning right now. If you haven't seen every single Marvel movie and show, back away from this video, go watch them, and then come back to this video to watch it. And I will be spoiling stuff about Spider-Man No Way Home, the newest Marvel movie. With that said, let's get started. At number 32, we have The Incredible Hulk. I do not like this movie whatsoever. I did do a ranking of all Marvel movies, all 23 Marvel movies, 2 years back with Dab 3000. And Hulk, The Incredible Hulk was at my bottom list before. It's still at my bottom list now. Honestly, it just doesn't feel like the MCU to me. Because it really wasn't made by the MCU. It was more made by 20th century and Fox or something like that. But I do like one thing about this movie. The end battle scene with Hulk versus Abomination. I do think it's cool that Hulk uses cars as boxing gloves. And I thought that was pretty cool. But a really forgettable, not feeling MCU film. Alright, at number 31, we have Thor the Dark World. Now, I don't like the Thor the Dark World. I did a character ranking a couple weeks back, and I said it was a forgettable movie, and it's kind of hard to rank these characters. This movie isn't that good either, because it's so forgettable, you forget a lot of stuff. The main villain in this is Maliki. Very forgettable villain. You will not remember his scheme. You don't even know what his scheme is yet. I think he's after the Reality Stone. But he gets it, but doesn't use it yet. So, not that good. It does introduce you to the Reality Stone, which I thought was cool to introduce us to the Reality Stone, but very forgettable at the same time. Alright, at number 30, it's one of our newest Marvel movies yet. And at number 30, we have Eternals. Now, I was kind of excited for this movie because I didn't know anything about the characters or anything. I went to watch this movie and I was very disappointed. First, let's talk about something good about it. I like Icarus and Cersei. They were like the two main roles, and I think they captured them perfectly in this movie. The rest of this movie is very, very crowded. It feels like they squished everything they could into this one movie. And it's at 2 hours and 32 minutes, and it still did not make sense. The deviants, aren't that... they don't really show that much in the movie. They show, some bits in the movie, but not that much. You don't even know who the villain is, because that's how complicated this movie is. And I feel like it would work better as a show. But they didn't. They crammed it into one movie, and we have this very crowded MCU film. Alright, at number 29, we have AntMan and the Wasp. Now, after Eternals and Up, I would recommend these movies to watch. Okay, we have Ant-Man and Wasp. I like the Ant-Man movies. I think Ant-Man's funny, and I really like the card tricks he does, and then Wu, I think that's his name. Wu tries to do it at the end, and then in WandaVision, you actually get to see him do the magic trick, which is cool. But honestly, very weird film. The villain in this film is Ghost, which is not the most, biggest threat yet. She isn't really a threat. She just wants to heal herself by taking Pym's lab, but they have to go get their mom, Wasp's mom, to come in. It's just kind of complicated movie to do, and yeah, it wasn't the best. And but I did like how you get to actually see Wasp in the suit. That is a good sign to see. Alright, at number 28, we have Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. Now, you guys, some of these people on my videos might not agree with me. They think Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 is higher. I'm at the lower tier. I love the first Guardians of the Galaxy. I love that movie. But Guardians 2 went downhill. It had, the first beginning of this movie when they're fighting the monsters and then they steal stuff from the gold stuff was good. But when Ego gets introduced, it just lost me there. Only because Ego is not a threat yet. For 30 minutes, for the most part of this movie, he is playing catch with Peter and setting up stuff that he has been doing. That's it. And then, with 30 minutes left of the movie, he turns into a threat to destroy Earth in, universes. Where did that come from? We've been here for a long time, and then now he's a threat. That's where it lost me. Also, I don't think it was a good idea to split the Guardians up with Drax, Gamora, and Star-Lord go with Ego, and then Rocket and Groot go on a separate mission with Yondu. Honestly, I do think the Rocket and Groot stuff with Yondu is better than the Star-Lord half. So, it's an alright movie. Alright, at number 27, we have Captain Marvel. Captain Marvel isn't the worst Marvel movie, but it's not good. First, I liked Nick Fury young. I think it's very cool to see him as this lighthearted character, and then changes later down the hill with this very, serious person that wants to lead the Avengers. But overall, Captain Marvel just doesn't have the most compelling villains. First, you have, the Ronin guards. I really forget those are the villains because, you're after the Skrulls and you think they're the bad guys, and then it switches and they're like, oh no, these guys are the bad guys. And I'm like, what? You just switch it right then? And then Captain Marvel's like, okay, I'll just side with you guys and take down them. It was a immediate weird change. And then Ronin, you see him in the trailers and you're like, oh, he might be a good villain. You might understand his backstory a little. No, just one scene with him and that's it. It's just not the best. It's just not the best. But I still liked it. Alright, at number 26, we have Thor. Now, this is the origin story of Thor. And I don't really hate this movie. I think it was good. I liked how it introduced the Thor character and the world about it. But that's the thing. I wish Thor just stayed at Asgard, so we could have a big threat on Asgard and we could do stuff there. But he gets banished to Earth, and that's kind of where it lost me, because you're supposed to be up in Asgard so you can do some stuff there, but no, you go to Earth and basically try to get his hammer back, and that doesn't happen for a while until Loki starts to go in control. And that's when he decides, oh, crap, I gotta go stop these villains. That's when the big fights happen. So, it takes a while for the movie to get to its point. But it's not as horrible as a lot of people say it is. Alright, at number 25 is Black Panther. Now, I know you guys will not like this. It's just, I've always thought Black Panther wasn't the best MCU film. I put it at number 12 of my last ranking. This time I'm I just feel like it needed more action. See, you have action at the very beginning, you have some in the middle, and then the end. And that's it. All the, like, Claw stuff, I wish we had more with Claw. But then Killmonger's plan doesn't take in until, like, an hour and 30 minutes of the movie. And then Killmonger becomes a threat. And then Black Panther supposed to be dead after Killmonger fights him. And then has to reintroduce. It's like the most mature MCU film here. I love the battles when they happen. It's just, I just don't think I like it as much as you guys. Like, I just feel like there's a lot more better MCU films. Alright, at number 24, we have our first show, WandaVision. Now, I love all the shows. I think the shows were amazing, especially WandaVision. I'll talk about the good. WandaVision had a lot of twists. Like, Agnetha, you think she's a normal person, and then switches to bad. That's a twist. And then, it's like a mystery. You don't know what's happening in, like, the first 3 episodes. And you're like, what is happening? Fourth episode, it starts to explain everything, and then that's when the story really kicks in. My problem here is those first 3 episodes. You don't know what's happening, so it's very confusing for you to figure out what in the world is going on here. And I do think the Quicksilver from the X-Men Fox, they brought the actor in, and you're like, oh, Quicksilver? The multiverse is real. Nope. They just brought this person, and it wasn't Quicksilver from the multiverse. It was just normal Quicksilver. And, yeah, that's about it. I hope Vision will show up more as the White Vision, because he's still a person as the White Vision. So I hope he gets more story later on. Alright, at number 23, we have Doctor Strange. Now, I had this way up high. It's a little bit low because I don't think the story's that great. Honestly, Doctor Strange has to defeat these purple eye dudes and goes up to the sky to defeat Dormammu. Even though he only had a week of training, and he has to go fight all these big creatures. Like, what? You just started. How are you defeating all these creatures so far? That's where it kind of lost me. Like, that isn't... I feel like he needed more practice than he actually gave in. Don't get me wrong. I think all the tricks looked cool. All the mirror verses looked cool. It's just, I kind of wish he had more training in the movie. Alright, at number 22, we have What If. I like What If. I think What If was a very good show. I like how they didn't do live action this time. I liked how they did animated, so they can... It looks like a comic book, which I like. And I just like how it looks like this. I like all episodes. I liked them all. Some of them were darker than the others, but the Thor episode was very funny. I love this series so much. Why is it this low on my list? Well, the thing is, I don't know if it ties in with, I don't know if this will tie into anything. Sure, Doctor Strange 2 has the other Doctor Strange. Okay. But will any of the other things tie in? Marvel Zombies from what the other episode has its own show. But, what are they going to do with Season 2? I don't know. This could drop more or less or more up. It's just, I don't know where they're going to take this in the future. But for right now, it goes right here, and I still think it's a good show. Number 21, we have Avengers Age of Ultron. Now, I love the Avenger movies. This one just feels like there's too much happening. First, Thor in the movie just leaves. He just leaves for 40 minutes of the movie and then comes back with this idea. We're supposed to be a team with the Avengers, and then Thor just splits up. I do like Hulkbuster versus the Hulk. I thought that was a very, very cool battle. It's just, Ultron, I wish, had more screen time. Usually, a lot of villains have more screen time and development in the movies. It's just Ultron did not have that much development. So that's why it just lands right here. At number 20, we have Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Now, I really did like this series. I like how Falcon and Winter Soldier had the buddy cop kind of action and, like, had that... I don't know what I'm saying anymore. But, like, I just like how they talked to each other and how the banter worked. The show is amazing. I love the villains. I liked John Walker as a villain because you're supposed to hate him, and that makes him so good to do it. And then I love Captain America Falcon. I've always wanted Marvel to do this, and they finally did it, and I was so happy when the 6th episode came out. So it just lands here because there's just so much good other Marvel movies. Alright, from this and up are very, very hard to put together. It was very difficult at this point to put together. At number 19, we have Iron Man 2. Now, Iron Man 2, I loved all Iron Man movies. I just think Iron Man 2 is the weakest of all the Iron Man movies. Only because for the middle half of this film, there is no battle. You just watch Iron Man go on these weird things about his dad to find out what his dad's been doing and, like, tries to heal his heart because he thinks he's gonna die and stuff. But I do like the Whiplash race car scene where Whiplash does that. The end battle scene is pretty good because you have War Machine and Iron Man teaming up to defeat all these robots with Whiplash. That's very cool. I wish Whiplash had more screen time development about this. And this is like the 9th character who is like betrayed by Iron Man and it's like villainous is because of Iron Man. So it lands here for now. It's just a really good Marvel movie. It's just I don't think it could go higher. At number 18 we have AntMan. Now AntMan is a very small film. It's one of the Ant-Man things that are not a huge threat, like not to blow up the city or anything. This is just a small scale of Yellow Jacket, which is a lot like Iron Man for some reason. And I love the Yellow Jacket villain himself. I think his character arc was amazing in this movie. They very well developed his character arc in this movie. Ant-Man was perfect in this movie. I like how Falcon got a little cameo in this movie. But overall, this was a very good Ant-Man movie. I don't know why they made a sequel, because that sequel went downhill, but it made sense. Alright, at number 17, we have ShangChi and the Legends of the Ten Rings. I do not hate this movie. I love the villain in this film, the dad. He's basically... he thinks he's doing stuff right, like Thanos. He thinks he's doing it right, going to save their mom. But they realize he is not doing the right thing, and they have to stop him. But he thinks he's doing the right thing. And that makes him very interesting to watch. Because he has his own thoughts about what's happening. And I think that's very good. I love the rings. I love they tied it into the very beginning, like, how... Well, they didn't show you how he got it, but you liked him a lot. Shang-Chi was amazing in this movie. He was very funny in the movie. I liked all the action scenes in this one, especially the bus scene. That was probably my favorite battle scene in this movie. Kind of lost me when they went to the magic world, basically, where all these made up creatures were there. I'm like, what? I thought they should have just stayed on Earth, but no, they went to this magical place. That's where it kind of lost me. The second half isn't as good as the first half, but it's still a very good movie. At number 16, we have Black Widow. Now, I liked Black Widow a lot. I thought it was very good, especially Elena. I think Elena is like the best part of this movie. Of course, Red Guardian is very funny in this movie. And I thought the only reason why it's like not even higher on this list is Taskmaster. I like Taskmaster. I actually, before quarantine happened and stuff, this was very exciting for me because I really wanted to watch this movie. And then it got postponed for a while. So I searched up who Taskmaster was and stuff. And I knew who it was. I'm like, ooh, this could be good in like a lot of movies. The movie happens, and it was the Red Room's leader, just daughter. What? I do understand. It makes sense why it could have been her under Taskmaster. It's just, I wish it wasn't her. I wish it was just a dude in there that did not relate to the Red Room stuff and did not have the Red Room serum, so he could go on his own missions, maybe even join the Dark Avengers, because they are doing that with John Walker, Elena, and then Taskmaster. But they didn't. So that's pretty disappointing for me. But it's still a very good movie. I still liked it. I loved all the action scenes. My favorite action scene from this movie was the bridge scene when Taskmaster basically like runs over Black Widow's car, and then the fight scenes look amazing in this movie, and Elena is very funny in this movie. So that's why it lands here. At number 15, we have Spider-Man Far From Home. Now, I thought Spider-Man Far From Home was the best Spider-Man movie. I rewatched all Spider-Man movies for Spider-Man No Way Home, and I just feel like this one's the weakest out of the Tom Holland movies. Now, don't get me wrong. I still think it's good. I love Mysterio. I still think it was kind of misused when, like, you realize he's not a real superhero and he's just this dude. But I still liked how they do it still. I was just kind of disappointed. I love Tom Holland in this movie, the Spider-Man Peter Parker. I liked how his plan to go into Europe was to propose or, like, say he likes MJ, which is a very good arc in this film. And I liked how they used Nick Fury. I think they played him well, even though it's not Nick Fury, it's Talos from Captain Marvel. So, a very good Spider-Man movie. It's just, I don't think it could go higher, but it's still very good. At number 14, we have Hawkeye. This is the newest show yet, and I think it's very good. I do hope Kate Bishop returns in another movie, maybe as like the Young Avengers, and she's the Hawkeye, because at the end, Clint Barton gave her the permission to be Hawkeye. So, I really do hope she returns. It's just, I don't know how they would do that. I think Young Avengers, but I think this was the most fun Hawkeye, like, show. Only because I think all the fight scenes were good. It was hilarious at some moments. Kingpin got to show up, which I thought was good. I'm hoping Kingpin is not dead. Maybe he'll return and echo the series, because the deaf girl with the metal leg, that's Echo. So I hope Kingpin returns in the Echo show. But still, if he doesn't, this is still a very good show. Alright, at number 13, we have Captain America, the First Avenger. Now, sorry, my rubber band fell out. At first, I put Captain America First Avenger on my last list at, like, the bottom tier, because I did not like it. But then, after that, I kept rewatching Captain America the First Avenger, and I like it even more. I think all the origin stuff in this movie of how Steve Rogers is becoming Captain America, I think that's great. I love everything about this movie. It is just a phenomenal movie. And I also like the train sequence when they're all like Bucky and Cap are fighting on the train, but Cap loses Bucky falling off the train. That is a really good scene. And this is one of the best MCU films. At number 12, we have Iron Man 3. Now, people don't like this movie because of the Mandarin twist. Yes, the Mandarin twist was disappointing. It was very disappointing. But I do think the Mandarin Shang-Chi is very better. But I still like this movie. I like Killian in this. I think he's a very good villain. I like how Iron Man and the kid, I forget his name, I like their banter between each other. Like how they communicate with each other. It's very, very good. I also like the very end battle scene where Iron Man uses all his suits to fight at the battle. I thought that was very cool. And this is a very good MCU film. Okay, at number 11, we have Loki. This is my favorite show of the MCU. Only because I like how it sets up this future phase with the normal timeline broke and there's new timelines coming out. So, I'm very excited where this is going to go in season 2. This show might drop because of season 2. It might be worse. I just think Sylvie is amazing in this movie. Loki and Sylvie are very good. But there's 2 other duos that are better. Loki and Morbius. Those 2 are very funny together and very good together. So this is my favorite show. And I don't think it could have made the top 10. It was about to make the top 10. But it just didn't because I just think there's better MCU films than shows. Alright, at number 10, we have Thor Ragnarok. Now, I do think this is the funniest MCU film ever. Now, I really do like how they brought Hulk in this, and like Thor and Hulk go against each other. And I also like how Thor's hammer is broken. So he thinks he can't do anything, but he can. And he realizes that the lightning wasn't just for his hammer. It was it was inside of him. And I think the villain's amazing in this too. It is a very good movie. And that's Junior's favorite MCU film. Alright, at number 9, we have Spiderman Homecoming. Now, I do think Homecoming is better than Far From Home. I like how the villain, Vulture, because he doesn't have an evil scheme to blow up the city. He's just this guy taking parts from stuff to care for his family. And I saw this one in the theaters, and I was so shocked that the girl Peter likes, her dad was the Vulture. That was just the biggest shock in that theater. I'm like, what? Are you serious? So that's why it comes here. I also like Spider-Man's beginning. Like, this is basically how he starts. He gets the tech suit, he meets Happy, and he's trying to stop the Vulture. This is a very good movie. At number 8, we have Captain America, the Winter Soldier. Now, a lot of people say this is the best MCU film. Honestly, I don't think it is the best MCU film, but I think it's still a very good MCU film. I like how Cap doesn't know who the Winter Soldier is, but when he realizes who the Winter Soldier is, he's immediately heartbroken that it's Bucky, his old friend, and he doesn't want to fight him. Also, Falcon is very good in this movie, and Black Widow is very good in this movie. Nick Fury's in it. It's just a very good movie. I do like how Captain America has to stop helicarriers. I thought that was a very good touch to the movie. At number 7, we have Captain America Civil War. This is my favorite Captain America movie, only because you have Cap and you have Iron Man, my 2 favorite superheroes, battling each other. That is amazing. My favorite part of this movie is the airport scene where they're all just battling with Spider-Man, Scarlet Witch, Vision. Everyone just comes together and fights. And the very last battle scene of this movie is heartbreaking when Iron Man realizes that Bucky killed his parents. It's just a very emotional battle scene, and that's why it had to make the top 10. At number 6, we have Guardians of the Galaxy. This is the most fun MCU films. I love how this introduces a new group of characters, and it is very good. Like, I love every single character. Everyone gets an arc in this film. Sure, Ronan isn't the most menacing villain. It's just still a good movie. I love the prison scene when they try to break out of the prison. And it's just a very fun MCU film. And then Yondu is very good as this evil, but very nice dude. So that's why it makes it this right here. It couldn't make the top 5 because there's 5 better MCU films. Alright, at number 5, we have Spider-Man No Way Home. Now, if you guys have not seen this movie, back away and come back, because I will be talking spoilers about Spider-Man No Way Home. So you have been warned. Alright, let's talk. So, Spider-Man No Way Home is the best Spider-Man Tom Holland movie. I really, really like this movie. I love the beginning of it where, like, you see Peter, how, like, everyone would know if he was Spider-Man. And then you get to see that for a good 10 minutes. And then he goes to Doctor Strange. And then the beginning of this movie with all the villains is amazing. I love all the fight scenes. I like the bridge sequence, which I think is one of the best fight scenes with Doc Ock and Spider-Man. I also like the Electro and Sandman fight. And the Green Goblin, you think he's good, but he is not good. He changes when Spider-Man comes in. And I just think the very end of this film, when Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield show up in the film, and they all, it's Tom Holland, Andrew Garfield, and Tobey Maguire team up to fight all these villains. That is just the most mind-blowing scene. I haven't seen a theater like that, clapping and stuff, since Avengers Endgame. So, this is why it makes the top 5 of the MCU ranking. Alright, at number 4, we have Iron Man. The first MCU film ever created is still one of the best MCUs ever created. MCU movies. I don't know why I said MCUs. Sorry. So, I think the first film is still the best, one of the best films. I like the villain in this movie because he wants to be the boss, but he goes to kill Iron Man so he could go in a cave. Honestly, I do like how he makes a suit and then breaks out. I think that is a phenomenal scene. But I also like how it's not one of the biggest MCU films. No, they just tried to tell a story about Iron Man before they have all these new movies going bigger and bigger. No, this is just a movie that didn't have that much stakes on it. They just went for it. And that's how this all started. Alright, at number 3, we have Avengers Infinity War. I went to see this in the theaters, and I was so shocked that they just killed off all the heroes. I didn't know that. I didn't think they were dead. I just knew they were gone for a while. Honestly, the Wakanda scene where all the heroes are fighting against the Outriders is one of the best fight scenes of the MCU. I also think Thanos is one of the best villains because he is very evil in his scheme, but he doesn't really think he's doing stuff bad. He's doing it for his own cause, which is good. Like everyone, Iron Man is good in this film, Cap, and you don't see Iron Man and Cap meeting each other. No, they don't meet for the whole movie, and then they meet each other in Endgame. So this is one of the best MCU films. At number 2, we have Avengers. Now, I do think the first Avengers is one of the best Avengers movies. I love how this one starts off with, like, the team, you don't have a team. And then they put together, they have their differences, but at the end, they come together to fight Loki and the Outriders. That is very good. I like the very end of this film where they are all fighting these Chitauri men. And I just think it's still one of the best MCU movies. Alright, number 1. If you haven't seen my last video, this wouldn't be a surprise to you. We have number 1, Endgame. Avengers Endgame. I just think this is the most fan service ever. Because you get to see the very like, you see all the team broken because they lost so much against Thanos. But then they bring him back with all the time travel stuff, which I think is very good. I'm glad they didn't kill off the characters that are in this movie, because they make the movie possible. I do like everything about this movie. I think Thanos is a good villain, but the very end of this film, this is the crowd that I've never seen before. Just basically clap a lot. Like, very loud claps in this theater when everyone just comes out of the portal. I was clapping too. I was so shocked that Captain America lift the hammer, and I was like this in my seat, and then when he did that, I just laid back in my seat because I was so shocked at that scene. And I haven't been shocked like that in a long time. So that's why this comes in at number 1. What is your ranking down below in the comments section? Share your ranking with me, and I'll take you guys on another Dab 2000 video. Goodbye, Dabbers.